Hi, and welcome to another episode of Google Truth or Lies, the show that looks at claims made by Google search and also claims made about Google by other SEOs to determine if they are truth or lie. Today we're going to be looking at the product review specifications from Google to see if those are truths or lies and what is truth and what is lie out of those 12 or so statements. And then we'll have another Google tip hiding in plain sight. So here we have the developers, google.com, Google Search Central, write high quality product reviews. And this was just updated December 2021, according to our friend Barry Schwartz. And so let's take a look at these, and I'm going to go quickly over these. Now, if you want more information about everything I'm going to talk about here, you want to find the Underground SEO University. It is Underground SEO University that does the scientific testing of these different claims. It has the proof of everything that I'm going to talk about here. If you want more information about Underground SEO University, or you want to try it out and get the best scientific knowledge of SEO ranking factors that will catapult your page to number one in a very short amount of time, email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. All right, so they say this is what you want to do if you have a product review of any kind. And quite frankly, the first claim we're going to look at here is whether or not this just relies on product reviews or just refers to product reviews, or this refers to any kind of page. The answer is bing, true. I wouldn't just think this applies to product reviews. I'd say this applies to any kind of page where their artificial intelligence, the multitask unified model, can read the videos, read the content, read the images, read everything about the page, and determine whether or not you have a quality service review or a quality product review or a quality blog page of any kind. So the first thing I would say is don't think this just applies to product reviews. This applies to all of your pages. The second thing in general I'm going to say about this is you need to think like the AI. You need to think like the Terminator. You need to think like the artificial intelligence, right? What words is it going to use? It doesn't understand reality like we do. It sees words. It sees images and changes the images into words. So all it sees is words. And what words is it going to use to answer all of these questions I'm about to read to you? If you want the specific scientific testing to prove what words they're going to be using, and we have methods to prove what words the AI is using, join Underground SEO University. Try Underground SEO University for a month, for 3 months, whatever. I have a discount code for you. Email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. But just for the free tips and free advice I'm about to give you, think about it like this. How is the AI going to understand what it is we're talking about here? So let's look at the sentences. Okay, so the first sentence. How is the AI going to understand, evaluate the product from a user's perspective? Okay, that makes sense. So this claim, is this a true or a false claim that you should evaluate the product from a user's perspective? The answer is bing, true. Of course, you need to evaluate the product from a user's perspective, and you need to think of what words the AI needs to see for that. Here's the second claim. Demonstrate that you are knowledgeable about the products reviewed. Show you are an expert. This is the oft debated EAT. Expertise, authority, or trust. They don't magically know you're an expert. You could think you're an expert in your own mind. I'm an expert about martial arts. I think I'm an expert in my martial arts. But that's just me, right after being punched in the face many times. I believe I'm now an expert. Perhaps because I have concussions, or perhaps because I know what I'm doing. It's one or the other, maybe a little bit of both. But the AI is not going to be able to tell that. No matter how egotistical I am and how much I think this, the AI is not going to think that. The AI needs to see the words. It needs to see the words required. So literally, what words could you say to make the AI think that you are an expert? Think about that for a second. Anywho, you need to demonstrate by saying the right words that you are knowledgeable about the products reviewed and to show that you are an expert. All right, and do you need to do that? Bing, definitely. That's definitely a ranking factor, and if you say those things, you will definitely rank higher on any page, not just a product review page. Here's the third. Provide evidence such as visuals, audio, or other links of your own experience, there's the keywords there, own experience with the product, to support your expertise and reinforce the authenticity of your review. So again, this is talking about expertise and reinforcing your authenticity. Expertise, authority, and trust, or authenticity, very close to authority. That's the EAT here. This is the EAT of the matter, folks. And again, many SEOs and white hats think that EAT's a real thing. It's really not. I have to admit, this is the only place where they're partly right and I'm partly wrong, where EAT is kind of a thing. Only, and I stress, only to the degree, insofar as we've scientifically tested it and proved this, only to the degree that the AI can understand, and it only understands words. It understands words in the audio, it understands words in the images, it understands words in the video. So you need to give it words. You need to give it words in the audio, the video, and the images that help build your case that this is a product review about a particular product and that you are an expert. And that's what you need to do. So the claim that you need to provide evidence such as visuals, audio, and other links of your own experience with the product to support your expertise and reinforce the authenticity of your review, is this claim truth or lie? Bing! It is truth. Once again, we have another truth. You definitely need to do that, and it's definitely a ranking factor, and we have scientifically shown that it will help you. All right, here's the fourth. Share quantitative measurements, and there's the keyword there, quantitative measurements about how a product measures up in various categories of performance. Again, bing, that is true. Insofar as you can communicate that to the artificial intelligence, you just need to think, what words do I need to say there that will help? Number 5, explain what sets a product apart from its competitors. So this one's a bit more esoteric. This one's a bit more hard to understand. But is it truth or lie that you need to explain what sets a product apart from its competitors? The answer is definitely, from our scientific testing at Underground SEO University, we can confirm that, bing, that is definitely true. If you know how the AI works, and you know how to do keyword research, and you know how to find keywords, and you know how to write for an AI, then that is a transformer, a natural language processor, such as the ones that Google is using to rank the pages, then you definitely know that doing this is definitely something you need to do. All right, number 6, you need to cover comparable products to consider, or explain which products might be best for certain uses or circumstances. Again, this is all about writing this fabric of the semantic of what mom is going to think is an authoritative expert review of product X, Y, or Z. So much like the other ones, the survey says, bing, true. You definitely want to cover comparable products to consider, and most importantly, explain which products might be best for certain uses or circumstances. Especially if this is going to increase your CRO and sales, it's a no-brainer. All right, the 7th, discuss the benefits and drawbacks of a particular product based on your own original research. Again, they want your own original research here, and benefits and drawbacks. Again, you need to think about what that could possibly mean, benefits and drawbacks. What words could I use to communicate to the AI that I'm showing here benefits and drawbacks? But is it true that it'll help you rank? Survey says, bing, definitely. All these things that you're writing for the AI can help you rank any kind of page, not only a product review page especially. All right, so Google's really helping us here with a lot of true suggestions, which is different from normal. Number 8, describe how a product has evolved from previous models or releases to provide improvements, address issues, or otherwise help users in making a purchase decision. You might not realize this, my friends, but this is probably the single most important suggestion in the whole list. And so definitely I could say it is true with like 80 thumbs up. You definitely want to be describing how a product has evolved from previous models or releases to provide improvements. This also will go to show how you know you're authoritative and that you have the expertise required to talk about this. But again, when I talk about those vaguisms, remember, you've got to think in concrete terms. What words can I use to convince this AI that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this, and that how the product has evolved from previous models? All right, number 9. This one has kind of been said already. You want to identify the key decision-making factors. There's the important words there. The decision-making factors for the product's category and how the product performs in those areas. For example, a car review might determine that fuel economy, safety, and handling are the key decision-making factors and rate performance in those areas. So, if it's a ballet class for adults, maybe you want to talk about what kind of ballet it is. Is it ballerino, or is it classical, or is it contemporary? Is it just for adults or for kids? And how much does it cost, and when is it? Those are the kinds of key factors of your particular product or service, just for example, that you might want to explain. And the answer is definitely true, bing, that you want to mention those things. All right, I believe this is number 10, or third from the last. Describe key choices and how a product has been designed and their effect on the users beyond what the manufacturer says. Again, this is just kind of a rehashing of what they've said, but yes, this is true. You want this. Our science shows this will help. Include links to other useful resources, your own or from other sites, to help a reader make a decision. Is it true that you want to include links to other pages that will help your readers make their decisions? Our scientific testing has looked, and are you a betting man? All the rest have been true. You're guessing this has been true as well? False. Our scientific testing shows that this is a bad thing to do. This is not going to help you rank at all. I don't think it's a good idea. In fact, it's just going to reduce your page rank if you know the original page rank model. So I'll give you a free tip right there, guys. Linking out is not a way to show you're an expert or authority. Citing your sources is good for university, maybe not good for your webpage. And the last, consider including links to multiple sellers to give the reader the option to purchase from their merchant of choice. Again, I would say that's false, unless you want to specifically sell from multiple sources and it really boosts your CRO. Otherwise, I'm here to tell you, Underground SEO University has found the truth of that, and it's not a good idea. There's one last thing here I want to mention. Product reviews often use affiliate links, blah, 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 blah. Here's the one last thing. They say, when writing reviews, focus on the quality and originality of your reviews, not the length. Not the length. This is an interesting statement because it goes against the common SEO wisdom that longer articles are better articles. And so is it true that longer articles are better articles? Or can you follow this advice here that Google says and just have it be as a quality review as long as it needs to be, no longer? And the answer is kind of true, bing, I guess. No, longer articles do not rank better necessarily. It all has to do with the potency of the keywords that the AI is looking for and the AI is watching. At Underground SEO University, we know how to find the potent keywords, the most potent keywords that are going to catapult your rankings above everybody else's and give you an unfair advantage in search. So if you want to learn more about that, email me at joshbashinsky@gmail.com and we can get you signed in. The next thing we're going to do is look for Google tips in plain sight. Here we have Google truth or lies, Google tips hiding in plain sight. So more about those pesky little three dots about this result. When you click those three results, you are going to see a whole bunch, a cornucopia of SEO tips hiding in plain sight under your search and this result. As you can see there, they will specify if the result has images related to your search and other websites with your search terms linked to this result. Those are some SEO tips right out there in plain sight. But I want to pay a little more closer attention to this little feature here. More about this page. More about this page. When you click more about this page, you're going to see it takes you to a little about the source page about that particular website. And this is very interesting in the sense that they give you a whole bunch of more tips in hiding in plain sight here. For example, jaguarparts.com, this is not sites, is not related to me, has nothing to do with me, but I'm just looking at the about this source for this site, and it says the first one is looking for a description of jaguarparts.com on a reference site, and they say that they go out of the way to say that they were looking for a description of jaguarparts.com on a reference site, but they couldn't find it. So I wonder if that's a Google tip hiding in plain sight. SEO University says, bing, yes, it's true that will definitely help your ranking. People call it brand building or building your brand entity. That's not how we refer to it in SEO University because that's a wrong, mistaken way of referring to it. That's going to confuse things with what an entity truly is. An entity is just an artifact of grammar. It is a concept that's used in natural language processing. So an entity can be anything. It could be a cat, it could be a dog. It's any subject or predicate of a sentence, really. It's not just proper nouns. It's not just things that are capitalized. It's not just brand identity things. So that's kind of a mistake that the SEO industry thinks, the way they think about entity. They think about it's brand entity. It's Josh's House of Cookies. That's a brand entity. But, a cat wouldn't be an entity. They're wrong. In natural language processing, all that would be an entity. However, that all being said, it looks like this is a great tip here from Google that maybe you want other big reference sites talking about you. And, just a reminder, Google has had a sentiment analysis. That is to say, an analysis of the positive or negative way people talk about your site and think about your site for years. So maybe it's a good idea to keep that in mind. And hopefully people are talking about you well on these reference sites. And we're going to talk about that in a second. The next part under here is in their own words. And so they actually make a point, Google does, of taking your About Us text, or from your About Us page, presumably, or maybe from their index page, I'm not really sure, and they paste it here to tell readers what, in their own words, Jaguar Parts thinks they're about. And it's very interesting of some of the words that show up in there are also very interesting as well. There are all different kinds of keywords these days. There are not just EMQ keywords. There are AI keywords. There are AI query keywords. And there's a whole spectrum of them. They're not just synonyms, and they're not just, words that match in there. They're other important words that Google Mum is looking for. And these are some great tips and hints at how to find these words. So you definitely want to take a look at this. And also, it's a common claim in the SEO industry. Should a site have an About Us, a robust About Us, a page or section on their site? And Underground SEO University, of course, has tested this thoroughly. And the answer is true. Bing! You definitely want that. It's definitely going to help you rank. But you need to put specific things in it, and you need to write it a very specific way. To get the information on how to do that, join SEO University, and we'd be happy to share that information with you and show you the ranking boost that you're going to get from doing that. The next thing I want to draw your attention to here is the web results about this source. The web results about this source are from searches for the source's names. So that's another little hint there. They're not just doing a search for the name, they're doing a search for the business's names. They know that JaguarParts.com is associated with a business. It has a business profile. That's the business entity. That is the oldie classic brand entity that does exist and is tracked by Google, but it is not exhausted by that idea. They have more entities than that. And notice what they place here. They put a Jaguar Forums apparently for this one, the top one, and Scam Advisor on the bottom. So So you need to wonder again, the claim, the SEO claim, is it important that you have review sites that talk about you positively? And the answer is, bing, definitely true. If you have any negative reviews out there, you definitely want to deal with those as fast as possible. And last but not least, I could go on. There's a lot more information here. Join SEO University. I would love to share with you. So the last part is about the topic, related results. Again, can you notice anything about these related results? Is this just the related results you get at the bottom of the SERP? I don't know. I'm looking at these related results, and it really seems to me to be something really important going on here. That might be a huge, giant clue as to how Google Mum thinks about these pages and what might be important when it comes to ranking in 2022 and beyond. So this has been Google Truth or Lies. I hope you've enjoyed all these free suggestions and tips. They are golden ones you're not going to hear anywhere else. And if you'd like to get more suggestions and tips that are guaranteed to catapult your ranking based on science, email me at joshbashinsky@gmail.com for a discount to Underground SEO University. Don't search us out anywhere. You're not going to find us. We are secret, we are underground, and we have only the most cutting-edge tactics that have to be kept secret. So thank you for watching Google Truth or Lies, and we'll see you next time.